So, how do you neutralize a survival response by reintroducing safety back into your nervous system? If you listen to last week's episode, I went into the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, some basic physiological reference points for essentially what is the fight, flight, freeze responses, our survival strategies that are literally hardwired into our biology. So if you haven't seen that yet, I recommend you go back 1 week, watch that, because that's going to make this episode make more sense. If you've watched that already, excellent. Here we are. Last week, we talked about the freeze response particularly, and I was making a connection between freeze patterns and addictive and avoidant behavior patterns that every single one of us has. I have yet to meet a human being who doesn't have some version of an addiction or an avoidant pattern or strategy that they need to contend with. So let's just make that a blanket statement. We're all addicts. We're all avoiders to some degree. Whether you choose addiction or choose avoidance, that's a different story. How do I decide to choose growth and transformation over avoidance and addiction? Well, there's a strategy I've learned from my coach, Alicia Halpin, amazing nervous system master extraordinaire that I recommend everybody go and check out. She has been working with myself and a bunch of other people I know on our nervous systems. And essentially what is most important to identify is that all throughout our day, there's opportunities, there's moments for the stimulation in our environment to trigger a survival response, to trigger a fear, to trigger an anxiety, to spark a traumatic event or something that happened in the past that causes my system to feel unsafe. Anytime my system feels unsafe, it's going to look for something to create safety again. Now, if I move into any one of those survival strategies that I mentioned on the last episode, I could fight it. I could fight whatever adversity is in front of me and lean into it. I can run from it, just straight up leave the room, get myself as far away from the threat as possible, or I can freeze. I can move into that disassociated nervous system. My physical body is there, but my energetic body is completely somewhere else. My mind is miles away. If I want to avoid going into any one of those strategies, then I have to reintroduce a sense of safety back into my body. Now, in the unlikely occurrence that you have an actual physical threat to your body, your life, your well-being, that's different. That's what the survival strategies are designed for. It's designed for a predator that is coming after me and I need to either fight it or run away from it or freeze so that it won't see me. Or if it's got me already, disassociate so that the getting ripped to shreds part isn't as uncomfortable. But the majority of these survival responses we have are perception of threats, perceived fears. What if people don't like me? What if I fart in public? What if I say something that people disagree with? What if I get turned down, rejected? These existential fears that feel like death, but it's really just an ego death. It's not physical death. It's not physical harm. It's emotional. It's spiritual, mental harm that we perceive. That's not actually real. The problem is that our nervous system doesn't know the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and speaking in front of thousands of people. It perceives the threat of survival as neutral. So as long as that threat and that sense of safety is jacked way up, I don't feel safe here, I don't feel at ease here, then we're going to be predisposed to these survival strategies coming online. So one of the things that Alicia has taught me that I've really implemented for myself in my life is to meet the fear, to greet it. So let me give an example. Let's say that I have a big launch that I'm doing for Rising Man. We're doing a brand new program that I've never done before. We're going to do it live with 100 men, and I've never done this before, ever. I've led before, I've produced events before, but I've never done it quite like this. Guarantee you my nervous system's going to come online. What if it doesn't go well? What if I forget what I wanted to do? What if I do a new exercise and it's a total dud and the guys don't like it? All of those voices that come in that are trying to convince me to walk away from this possible threat of failure, of existential ego death, and get me back into a safe place. Instead, if I can notice, there you are, fear. There you are, doubt. Hello, my old friend, anxiety, and greet it and be aware of it and bring attention to it. I can start to have a conversation. And in the practice, it's asking myself what this fear has to share with me. Well, there you are again, nervousness. Haven't seen you in a while. It's been a while since we felt this way. What is it that you have to share with me? And getting really curious, asking that fear, whatever that emotion is that's coming up, what it has to tell me. Because all of those feelings that arise are there for a reason. There's no accidents in the universe. So there's something that my body is trying to tell me. Oh, you're trying to tell me that if this doesn't go well, that might really hurt. That if these 100 men don't enjoy the activity that I've prepared for them, that I'm going to feel like I failed. And if I feel like I failed, then I'm going to start wondering if I'm actually cut out for this job. I'm going to start thinking maybe I should have done something different. Maybe I should have never even offered this course in the first place. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me. And really speaking to that emotion as though it's an entity right there in front of you, because it's real. It has energy behind it. And in other cases where I try to fight it and just bust my way through it and say, screw you, fear, let's just go do this, I'm bracing myself for impact. Or if I run from it and I ghost on the whole 100 room of 100 guys, then that's not going to be a very effective strategy. Sure, I might feel better in the moment, but overall it's not going to feel very good. And if I get up there and I'm just standing, shaking, forgetting my lines, that's also not going to work. So it's an opportunity for me to engage with what's coming up and transform it into something. To take that big, loud, noisy fear that wants all of my attention to save me and protect me and speak to it. Speak to it like it's a child. Hey, I hear you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that this really matters to me. Thank you for reminding me how much I care about serving these 100 men. And I know that I don't know exactly how this is going to go. I don't know exactly how it's going to be received, but it's going to be okay. And nurturing that part of my nervous system, getting real. Once I've gotten curious with exploration into it, the last piece that I can bring into it is what if? Hey, listen, what if this new program is amazing? What if this is the best result you've ever produced with men ever in all the years you've been doing this? What if they love it? What if they're standing up, clapping in ovation? And just offer the what ifs. Give that nervous part of myself a different perspective, a different possibility to lean into. Just like I was coaching my child into, hey, listen, I know you're scared about going to school for your first day, but what if it's the best day ever? What if you meet your best friend for a lifetime today, and this is the first day that you get to meet them? What if your teacher is the nicest teacher in the world? And it's not like I'm trying to create some sort of reality that is never going to happen. I'm just introducing a possibility. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but what if instead of the worst case scenario, death, humiliation, embarrassment, exile, what if it actually works out? Or even somewhere in the middle. What if it's a pretty good course and you need to do a little work on it, but you can come back and do it again because a lot of people still had a great experience? What if? What if? What if it wasn't the end of the world? It's basically the message. And sometimes the nervous system needs to hear that. Saying it out loud, not just in my head trying to run on the mental treadmill again, but saying it out loud to myself has been incredible. Now, I'm like some of you guys. I'm a little bit of a doubter. Some of these exercises are a little bit hard for me, but I've been really going for it because I'm tired of living in these same fearful, avoidant, addictive behaviors that keep me from leaning into my edge. So if you feel that way too, if you keep running up against some of the same resistances and obstacles and adversities in your life, but you just keep banging your head up against a wall, then what do you have to lose? Give it a try. Give this process a try. Ask that emotion that's coming up. What is it sharing with you? Hey, fear. Okay, I surrender. What's going on? What am I so afraid of right now? Tell me. Oh, I really care about this. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Be grateful, right? All those inconvenient emotions are actually doing something really big for us. Survival is important. If we can't survive, then game over anyway, right? But we can be with that perception of fear, of existential death in a different way. All we need are some tools. and some new possibilities for that nervous system to feel safe again. Because at the end of the day, if I can introduce a sense of safety back into my body, then I'll be available for what's happening right now. That's leaning in. That's transformation in the moment. It goes so many layers deep, but that's a good start. So go ahead, figure out where you can apply that in your life. Share this with somebody else that you know has a hard time dealing with overwhelm, anxiety, fear, avoidance, addiction, all of that, and see if they get the same benefit out of this episode as you did. And make sure you guys listen to this episode, then join us in the Brotherhood community, because every single week we go deep into these topics for an hour, discussion led by myself and other leaders in the Rising Man community, so you can extract more than just listening to this episode by yourself. All right. Make sure you tune in next week for another episode. We'll see you inside the Brotherhood community for our weekly Monday morning meditation review call. And keep doing what you're doing out there. So much love, peace, and blessings.